Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to look at a set of Heiniger Saphir dog trimmers. I'm Simon and welcome to Oakside Saddlery. Dogs are Heiniger, little Heiniger Saphir trimmers, dog clippers they are, well, that's what they're used for, you can use them for anything. They've got an issue, they've got a fault, they're not working very well. Hopefully it is just a case of that's a bit blocked up in there and we can get it working again. Like battery powered, not bad, they obviously get a lot of use, but if I turn them on, we can hear there's not a lot going on and there's no movement in there at all. So we'll get all this apart and have a look. So these are a little Torx screws on them. So Torx is that little star shaped one that's got something known as a Torx. First bit we're going to take off then is the clipper blade attachment bit here. So one out. Long screws go in. There's one. There's the second one. So the one reason why I like the electric for these is because they are always blooming long. Now these should all be in one piece, but they're obviously not going to be. So this part there should be attached to that bit there, but never mind. You can already see there's a lot of hair. In actual fact, it feels like the air filters might be jammed up around there and all. So it might be a nice simple thing for that, hopefully. Alright, let's get that battery pack off. We don't need that. We've got a little screw down there and 6 up there. So there's one in here. And then we have some more. Right then. Two more up here. Missed. They're all the same size. There's only that one odd one that's different, but everything else is the same. No more on these ones, so we should be able to get a bit of movement. Here it goes. It's all going to stick down this end, hopefully. It says as it doesn't want to come out, something's gripping onto it. There it is. So inside then, you got your battery pack that's in here, your circuit board, the switch is there, it sits on the back, feeds into the motor, got a little gearbox. This is offset, so as it rotates it moves it from side to side. Got a little filter or sponge part on there. This levers through and it moves that. Now if we look at that, there's something I can point at. This bit here is rather blocked. There we go. So we can see there's a big bundle of hair. There's probably another bit the other side. Oh, blimey, look at that. Big bundle of hair. So we've got a little seal at the back there. Get that out. That'll wipe off. But we can see the amount of hair that has been jammed into there. That is probably what is stopping that working. So fingers crossed. I'm going to just clip these all back together. Everything else seems to move. I'm going to put that battery backpack in. I'll put it in the right way. I'm going to try it. Oh god, it still don't want to work. That might be a motor problem. Or flat battery. Alright, let's have another nose. So that part there. Let's get rid of that. Screws in there. First part I'm going to take off is this, and this is just a lever. Let me just find something I can get that with. So in here, this will just pull off of that. And we have our lever. And this part here has got the bearing, so this is where this is off centre. So as this turns, which it doesn't want to turn, it should turn. is where it goes. Now sometimes these have a little circlip at the top there, which is probably that one there. The hardest thing we have is finding that gap. Oh, I was off camera, don't I? Right, there it is. So this is a little clip washer in there. It sticks to everything because it has a bit of grease and that on it. And we've got a washer. Which is there. Bearing of this part will all be attached, and this doesn't seem to want to move. So this might be my issue. That is solid in there. It should come off of that, and it doesn't want to. Just make sure there's not another clip put in there. Doesn't look like it. Bear moves, that bear moves. That just doesn't want to come off. Look at that. See how much that's levering. Oh. I dared to walk up my driveway. God, I can't get that off. I've got a feeling I'm going to end up having to break something here to get this apart. Adamant there's not anything there. That's because someone may have put another clip in here, but it doesn't look like it. That should pull off of there, and it blooming isn't, and it's not turning. So that is our problem. Not the motor. This. Completely seized. Right, let me have a little think. Try something a bit bigger. Try some spray. Oh, I've got one. Got one somewhere. Right, wait one. We're back. Right, I'm back. Now, all I managed to get is some lubricant spray, so WD-40, something like that. This one is GT85. Have a little spray on here and see if we can't free any of this up. I've got a feeling it has well and truly seized on there, and I'm going to end up either breaking this. I can't heat it. It's got no, there's no give whatsoever. You can see that on that video, can you? Leverage it's saying. Where I need to get to is right inside here at the bottom, and that's where I need to really push into if I can't push it away. I don't think I'm going to get it. Now, if you can see me now, guess what's saying? Yep, my tongue's sticking out or I'm concentrating. Right, let's pull that motor out and see if I can't get a bit of space at that end. It should pull off. Should be able to get that out of there from that angle. Yeah. That all feels good. Hopefully that's working. Might be able to get in there now from that end. Whereas this, so it should turn. And it doesn't. Oh, blimey O'Reilly. That took some doing. That was properly seized on there. Certainly took some doing. I think someone forgot to put any oil on that. Anyway, we've managed to get them apart. Now, the thing is, will that works. And let's put that back on there. I don't need to put that in there. Well, I'll do because it's got the switch on it. I'll chuck that over that. Hold it together. Put the battery in. And put it in the right way. And I'll listen. Might well cut away with it, mightn't they? Get this apart again. Don't want to come apart now. Don't help, my hands are all oily now. Right, so the motor works, that works, that works. Let's have a look at this and see if it burnt anything out on the gears. They all look good. So I reckon that was just seized. I reckon that got itself seized up on that shaft, and that's why it's not working. Right, let's get them cleaned up then. I probably won't do this video because I've probably been going for some time. We've not actually been on here, so I will edit that bit out, maybe a little short part. I'll get these cleaned up and we'll get them back together again and see how that works. Right, back in a bit. It's back again. So all cleaned up, ready to go. We've got a switch on there that's been cleaned up. Obviously our motor. It's got a few marks, but nothing bad. Battery's been wiped over. We'll figure that out a bit later. Figure that out. Now, this is our offending article, isn't it? So we're going to have a look at this first and make sure there's nothing seriously wrong with it. Because it's just going to sit on top of here. It's all seems okay now. So I think it was just, whatever reason, it got itself stuck. Be it something jammed in there. But it feels fine. So let's look at getting this back together again. First thing we're going to do then, clean up this motor a little bit. Let's see, we've got, where's my paper towels? We've got a little bit of marks just on there, which is probably where it was hot. Which feels alright. I'm going to put a bit of spray in there. Still haven't replaced it. So I'm going to put a bit of spray in there. What I mean is I'm going to miss. A bit of that in there. Give that a little turn around. That'll clean any brushes and stuff up because I can't get these apart. Otherwise they are pretty good. So it can have a little drop of oil. There's my oil. Doesn't want much. A little tiny drop. Just on there. Spider or something on my head. I'll clean that in. I can get rid of that. Just dirty one for that because the other towel's quite clean. Because we don't really want that going everywhere. And when it isn't where we want it, it's not good, is it? Right, that's all good. So that is going to sit just in the back there. It pushes down over that, clips into position there, and sits there. This shaft here then, it's going to go down. I'm going to put a little drop of oil on there. So there's my oil. Don't have to have a load. What we do when we work it in is turn it so it gets into place. So that feels good. Want a little bit of oil on that. Just in there. And some of these do have grease on them. They have grease underneath on the motor there. This one didn't have any. Might be why it went wrong. But I'm not going to put any back on it. Purely for the fact that you don't really need it. When you've got nylon or plastic onto metal, you don't need the grease much. It should be all smooth. But that's good. And then what we'd have here, that would sit on there. And we've got a little washer. And when I say I'm not going to use any grease, I will use grease because these things can be a pain in the bum to pick up. And they're a lot easier to pick up with a bit of grease on your finger. So that goes on there, and then we've got that little circlip which is going to go into there. So that's in place, but I'm going to wipe that grease off my hands, because now what I need to do is find where that's got to sit, which is there, and then push it on without it going flying. If I can't do it with my fingers, we get our screwdriver out, and then we just line on the back of it and push it into place. So you hear that click? So this part here then, this does have a bit of grease on it, because this is where a lot of your movement comes from. So it just wants a bit put inside there, because this actually just is going backwards and forwards. It's not rotating or anything like that. So it's always nice to get a bit of grease on that. And the other bit that you could probably do with is just here, because this is a pivot on there. So that is now going to sit. Oh, hang on, is that our issue? That feels quite tight. That's going to sit there. Now, I think that's all well and good now. Although I've forgotten to put the foam filter in, so we'll do that. See? That's because I'm too engrossed with something else. And now I'm not watching what I'm meant to be doing. So we have a foam filter goes over that. Stops any hair coming in the front there, doesn't it? So that sits there, that sits there. This part is all pretty good now. So we can get the rest of our clippers back together. So they will sit in there. Hang on a minute. I'm having a right old turn here. I'll put that on as well, because this sits under there and all. There we go. Right. So our clippers, what I'm going to do now, plug them back in, and we can now see that is working backwards and forwards. And they sound a little bit better than they did before. Right, I don't need nothing else off of that, do I? So that is them done. Good. Right, let's take that battery off, because I've got a screw under there and I'll forget it otherwise. So we've got our screws. All of these are all the same, apart from one little small one. So we're going to have one in there, one in there, one in there, one in there, one there, one there. Then we've got the two for the piece at the front. Where's my screwdriver? Set this up to doing it up. Remember, when I'm using these, I'm not really forcing this. So let it go until it wants to give up. And then just let it turn in my hands. So they're all in. That one. That's tight. That's tight. 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 I've got one more at the back. Sits just in there. Just going to line that one up. Right, they're all back together. All good to go. Now, this part. These usually fall off because people have replaced them. So really what this should do is just sit here when you're putting it together. And then as you shut your blades down, it pushes forward and goes. But what it's got is it has two little springs. So if this is your tip for the day, there's a little spring in here and 2 points of it stick out the back here. And what happens is, people don't notice they're there, so therefore when they put it in, they clamp it up tight, it bends the spring, snaps off. So if you find a little tiny piece of metal sitting in your clippers, that's what it is. Look for them springs. The person who these go to, they've got loads of these. They probably get through quite a few of them, all for that reason. So I'm going to put this one back on exactly as it is, because there's no point in me worrying about it. So it's going to sit there. That sits in there. It lines up. These are quite a nice design on these Heinigers because it holds it in place and stops it moving. That moves, that moves, that moves. That's in the right spot. Right, got one there. I want to do that right up. We've got another one there. This time I'm going to allow it, and then go back to the first one and allow that one. So that's our clippers sorted. So you think, what the hell, figure out which way to put them on it. Blades are in, the clippers are working. Don't need a pat test or nothing, because they're just things. The charger itself would be, but that would be done with the business thing itself, because that's going to be part of our normal testing. Anyway, you've got yourself a set of Heiniger Saphirs. They are a nice trimmer. They must work well, because the groomers all have them up the road here, and they go through them, loads and loads of them. So they're you know, clipping dogs all the time, aren't they? Anyway, any comments? Leave them below. Enjoyed the video? Give it that thumbs up and subscribe. I think my next one might be an Andis horse clipper. So, see you for that one. Goodbye.